My name's James Smallwood. I'm the National Treasurer for the Fraternal Order of Police. No, you know, my first national conference, I came in and I remember very vividly walking in with a friend of mine onto the conference floor and looking at all the chairs and the stage and the president and all the board members, and I was just kind of overwhelmed. And never in a million years did I ever dream that I would have done the things in the FOP that I have. I've been the president of a local lodge. I've been the treasurer of a local lodge. I'm served on so many different committees, and now I'm the national treasurer. And every single one of those positions has its unique rewards. But I can certainly say with confidence, I never in a million years would have imagined that I'd be sitting where I am right now. You know, it's so hard to pick from all the different committees that we've been involved with on the local and the national level, the state level. Probably one of the most rewarding for me is the DART committee, my involvement with that, and making sure that when cops and communities need us, that we're there to help them. I'm also so very proud of the great work that the marketing committee has done. That was something that President Yost appointed me to, and it was a brand new committee, and he allowed me to kind of put my fingerprints on it and allowed me to take it in a direction so that we can market the FOP internally and externally and show not only our members but the public what we do. And that was something that I was very proud of. I think they've done a great job, and now that Daryl Basco has taken over as the committee chair, he's taken it to even bigger and better heights, and I'm so impressed with everything that the committee's done. It's been a really interesting time to be in law enforcement, and it's we've seen a lot just in the last few years. It's law enforcement has been through quite a bit. We've seen pandemics and civil unrest, and it's just been really challenging. And I think what's really important is that we have really good, brave men and women who are willing to come out there and stand on the line and serve their communities and stand between the good and evil and make sure that those people who are sleeping in their beds at night have that comfort of and peace of knowing that they're going to be safe and that there's going to be somebody out there protecting them. And I think when you look at law enforcement as a whole, that is huge. That even though, despite all the rhetoric, despite the narratives, despite the hate, there are still good men and women who are willing to come out and stand the line and make sure that our communities have somebody protecting them and have their back. That's tough. Behind every great FOP leader is an even greater family. Whether it be a husband or a wife or children or mothers and fathers. We could not, absolutely could not do what we do as an organization if we didn't have strong families behind us. And it's hard. You spend time away. You want to go out there and do the things you can for your membership. But you got family waiting for you at home. Just like officers, when they walk out the door to go to work, they got families waiting for them at home, and we do too. And I can't say enough good things about my wife. She is incredible. She takes care of everything. Um, and you do everything you can to, when you're at home, spend time with your family, to carve out time for your kids, and make it to those sporting events. And this coming weekend, I've got a trip with my son where we're going to go, just he and I, and go fishing and go to a ball game. Those opportunities to create memories with your family, go on vacation with them. When you do that, you've got to unplug. You've got to 100% make sure that you're there for them. And as members, not just as leaders, as members, we have to understand that our leaders have families, and that they need that time to rejuvenate and re-energize and get with them and remember exactly what it is we're fighting for. Exactly what it is we're putting all this work in for. Because if we can't remember that, if we lose focus on the fact that we're trying to make lives better for everybody, we lose this fight. So I think being involved with your families is an important balance that we all as leaders, while we struggle to strike, we have to find that balance. We have to find that time to make sure that we cut that out for them and appreciate what they do for us. Because like I said, without them, we couldn't do what we do as an organization. We would struggle. When I think back to the early stages of my time in the FOP, and they're still here with me today, folks like Alan Harold, who's our 2021 Member of the Year on the national level, and Johnny Crumby and Desmond Carter, those guys, they are just a wealth of wisdom, and the information and the advice that they share is invaluable. I can't thank them enough for being there and having me and carrying me through the FOP and just being mentors. But then, you also have folks like President Yost and Joe Gamaldi and everybody on the e-board and all the national trustees. Everybody's just been so great to work with, so accommodating and so willing to say, hey, here are the struggles we had when we got on, and here's how you can avoid some of this. Here's how you can do better. And what we all have to recognize as members of the FOP, whether we're just members or we're leaders, is that everybody's here to work together, and we have to be willing to accept criticisms. We have to be willing to accept advice. We have to be thirsty for that advice, quite frankly. We want to learn from those folks who carried us where we are now. You know, it's hard to say. Obviously, the FOP is doing a lot of moving and shaking right now. We are on the stage more than we ever have been. We are engaged, we are relevant, we are growing. Members want to be a part of what we're doing. I think, as anything goes with politics, there's internal, political infighting and people disagree. But I think what we need to focus on as an organization, I think the Fraternal Order Police needs to focus on creating a stronger fraternal bond. And people see that and they wonder why I would say that, because I think when you create that stronger fraternal bond, when we become a tighter knit family, we can win any fight we want to fight. We can go to battle on the collective bargaining or on the labor side. And if we are standing together, if we are strong and we are standing to support one another, when we go to the table to bargain for our members, we know that not only do we have their backs, but they have our backs, because we've got that strong, tight-knit fraternal sense. I think that is the key in our organization that a lot of other organizations are missing out on. And quite frankly, that's something our profession has lost over the decades. I can remember growing up and watching, the traditional cop shows, and you see like the partners who are always together, and then they know everything about one another and their families, and really they become each other's family. And I think as law enforcement has progressed over the generations, we've kind of lost that sense. I think if we can get back to that and we use the FOP to gain that sense back, I think we become stronger, we become better, and we are more effective in creating safer and stronger communities. We're better at helping our communities be safe. We're protecting the public, and when we do that knowing that the law enforcement family is there for one another. There's really not a defining thing that brought me into the FOP. I talked about how members who see things happening from a 30,000-foot view can be critical of the FOP, and I was that guy, to be quite frank. In the beginning of my career, when I watched the FOP from the 30,000-foot view, I was critical of some of our leaders, and the only reason I was critical is because I didn't understand. I didn't know how the gears turned. I didn't know the intricacies of the FOP. And I can remember this as a defining moment for my career in the FOP, for my involvement. I was sitting at home one night and I was frustrated, and I was just disappointed in some things. And I told my wife, it's not fair for me to be critical of the leaders of this FOP and be critical of what's happening in the FOP if I myself am not involved and if I don't understand it. And I said, I'm going to start going to meetings. I was like every other member in the FOP. I paid my dues and I wanted the FOP to carry the water for me. And I decided one day that's not enough. It's not enough for my organization. It's not enough for me, for my integrity. I said, I'm going to start going to meetings. And I started showing up to meetings. Lo and behold, the president at the time said, hey, I need some help with committees, to the entire body. He said, if you're sitting in the audience and you want to be a part of this organization, you want to help make decisions, join up, get in one of these committees, because I can't do it all by myself. And I went up and talked to the president. He put me on a committee, and ever since then, it's just been 100 miles an hour. And I cannot say how much I appreciate him saying, hop on this committee so you can understand how it's done, so you can understand the value and the importance in what we do on the day-to-day basis. That's the defining moment, getting engaged in the FOP and just understanding the intricacies and how detailed the decisions are and everything that we do to put in to the FOP for our members.